When Peter denied Jesus instead of denying himself and taking up his cross, we see a sad picture of Peter's sorrow at the end of this chapter. Luke 22, verse 61 to 62, the Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him, before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. I wonder what the look in Jesus' eyes was in that moment. Some say he was angry, a dark look at the one who denied him for his terrible sin. I believe it was a look of sadness. That's what broke Peter, Jesus' sadness. Shireen always talks about how if a child in her class has done something naughty, stolen or cheated and so on, what gets them is when you say, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. I think that look from Jesus broke Peter because he could sense Jesus' sadness and disappointment in that moment. Sorrow is the right response to having let God down. Throughout the Bible, the faithful people of God weep and mourn when they see and acknowledge their sin. Perhaps there's not enough of that in the world anymore. Perhaps there's not enough mourning over sin. But the key is to go to Jesus with your mourning rather than distancing yourself further. Notice what Peter did when he realized what he'd done. He distanced himself even further from Jesus. He went outside and wept. Before this, he was inside the courts, warming himself at a nice fire, keeping comfy and following at a nice distance. But when it dawns on him what he has done, when he sees the look in Jesus' eyes, he goes outside into the cold and he weeps. I think this was the wrong move. It's a move we all make in our lives. You see, when we realize we've sinned and made the wrong denial, most of us feel so guilty that we move further away from Jesus. We're convinced of God's anger, of His wrath, of His judgment, and so we withdraw because we want none of that. Have you been there? You know you've messed up, and so you just stop praying, you just stop reading the Bible. You maybe don't come to church. You maybe take a step back from your Christian friends. You think to yourself, if they knew the real me, they'd kick me out. And you condemn yourself and drift away from Jesus. This is the wrong move. I think Satan was even more pleased with himself when he saw Peter move outside, further from Jesus. Do you know what Peter should have done when he made that denial? And Jesus turned and looked at him. He should have run to Jesus. He should have fallen at Jesus' feet and asked for forgiveness. If you find yourself having let Jesus down, denied him in some way, friend, run to him, not from him. Yes, you may have real sorrow for your sin, but let it drive you to him, not from him. He is willing always to redeem those who run to him in repentance and humility, you included.